Ray Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
And welcome to the first ever live remote edition of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Brad Sellers joining me to my right, and we have Mr. Kobe Altman joining us right here. Kobe, thanks for joining us. We have been live for officially 30 seconds. We already have the biggest guest in the house joining us here on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
More important than I am.
I don't know, Kobe. First off, it is officially media day, the start of a brand new season. So, Kobe, what's the excitement level here inside Rocket Mortgage FieldHouse as you guys get ready for the 2023 campaign?
It is a tremendously exciting day. I think looking back, I think we had a tremendous offseason with our acquisitions, with our internal player development, our summer league with no one to talk about. But we won a summer league championship too. Don't forget about that in Vegas. So it all adds to the winning culture we're trying to produce here in Cleveland. Look, like the playoffs didn't end how we expected it to, but you can't take away what we accomplished last season. And it builds towards this season and what we're trying to accomplish. So we're excited. This is the kickoff, but I'm really looking forward to tomorrow when we toss it up and really start to get going on what this looks like.
Talk about this. As you build building blocks to putting the season together, talk about the ability for this organization to resist the urge to make a massive change after an exit from the playoff, and how important that is to the direction you're going.
Well, I think two things is one, of course, people see the urge and who's available and do this and do that. We made our big move. Donovan Mitchell had the best year of his career with us last year, and that was a big move and a substantial move. But before that, while we're not going to just waver, is the core, which, Darius is 23 years old. Evan's 22 years old. Jared is the oldest 25-year-old I've ever seen because he's been in the league forever. That core gives you great confidence that, look, this is a great runway with this group. They've already had success and they're growing. But what's Evan going to look like when he's 25 years old? Why should we waver off our plan? Why should we waver off our course of a one playoff series? We want to have multiple experiences like that until we get to our end goal. And so, to your question, the reason I felt good about this group is it's young, it's exciting, it's dynamic. They love it here in Cleveland, and they're going to have a long runway.
You added pieces that we needed to move the franchise forward. But the pieces you added are all experienced with playoff ability. Right. And talk about how important that is to the next step.
I think it's such an important piece to the question because I think, yes, the elite skill set is something we needed. When you talk about Max Strus, who's a movement shooter, right? Not unlike Corver, who used to fly around and gravitational pull, creating a lot of space for our ball-dominant guards, and Evan and Jared. Such a meaningful piece. George Niang also will space the floor. And we play Evan at some 5 this year and have a lot of spacing, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Absolutely needed that elite skill set. But to your point, they bring a toughness, a grittiness, intangibles that don't show up in the box score. Max Strus started 41 playoff games the last 2 years. He's been to a conference finals and a finals as a starter. That's meaningful. We want him to inject that to us, that culture to us. What we need to be uncomfortable during the regular season because we're trying so hard, because when we get to the playoffs, it's going to be that much more difficult. He has those experiences. George in the East as well has won multiple rounds of playoffs before in a very competitive East. They're not quiet. They're loud. We're a very quiet group, a young group that's quiet. These guys are going to inject, be vocal. They're going to talk about their experiences. They're going to bring the intangibles to the table along with that elite skill set.
Kobe, when you look at how the year, and I think it's fair to say the Knicks kind of out-physical the team that you guys put out on the court, is that something that can change in one offseason, or is that more of a culture that's built within here that this team just has to be a little more physical, a little more tough to contend with the top teams in the East?
So I think there's two things. There's one, yes, can we be more physical? Absolutely. Could be tougher. You can be more tougher. Those games were played largely in the 90s.
Yeah.
Which are winnable games. So you can't say, look, they ran us into the ground, our defense failed, we didn't, you have to have some level of toughness to be playing in the 90s and to be the number one defense in the playoffs still. we couldn't score.
Yeah, fair.
We couldn't score. So, yes, do we need to be more physical? Is that going to come with growth, maturation, age? You know, as Evan's 22 years old, and I think I told everyone on the podium today, at 22 years old, this offseason, he invested in his own personal gym. He invested in his own nutrition program. That says a lot about a 22-year-old and what he thinks he needs to do to be successful in this league. So it's going to come internally as well. But also, how do we diversify our offense? How do we become more dynamic? How do we become harder to guard and win those games in the 90s?
And you mentioned Evan, and we see Evan walking through here. He does look significantly.
A little more cut.
He looks a little bigger. He's definitely a little more.
Like, just put on the pounds because that's not who he is. But can he be wiry, strong, a la Kevin Garnett? You know, can he be wiry, strong, like Tyson Chandler was back in the day? He's his own person, so I don't want to compare him to anybody. But Evan's going to be really, really good for a long time in this league.
Typically you see people break into their own year 3, year 4. This is getting to that point. And his age is. I think sometimes people think he's older than he is. He's just a young
year
kid.
2, and he was second in Defensive Player of the Year at year 2. So let's give him his due there. Everyone wants to see this massive jump, and let's give him the 20 points a game. What we can do is utilize him more and have his usage be more. And Evan, rebound push and find open guys or drive it all the way to the rim. Let's utilize you out of some hubs. Let's utilize you out of elbow series, right? And now you have guards flying around. You have spot shooting all around. He has more space. You can take it to the post or you can kick out. Let's utilize him more in the offense. Let's have his usage rate be higher. And we're excited about that maturation of his process. Not putting a number on it, right? How can he grow offensively? And I think that's just putting the ball in his hands more.
Adding pieces that space the floor. And the spacing should give him additional room to work. But I want to talk about this. Wiley, you brought Tristan Thompson back to town.
So, first of all, we're so excited to bring him back. And thank you for asking about Tristan. We were very intentional with that 14th roster spot. What do we need out of that 14th roster spot? High character, high work ethic, a leader, someone that's going to be vocal, and someone that can still play, right? Tristan played in the conference finals last year against Denver. He can still compete. We can still throw him out there. And let's be honest, we probably would have thrown him out there against the Knicks last year, right? So, one, how do we grow from an experience standpoint? Tristan, we drafted. We paid. He's won multiple rounds of the playoffs with us. He won an NBA championship with us. He's thrilled to be back. But he knows those battles. He knows what it's like to gut out a final rebound and a clean possession. He's going to help inject that to our bigs. And if we need to throw him out there to get tough and physical, he can do that. And let's be honest, I mean, our team's been quiet. We're a little quiet, right? We're young, we're quiet. Tristan's not quiet. Tristan's vocal. He's boisterous. He's going to be loud. And we want that leadership out of him. And so excited for this homecoming for Tristan.
There have been major additions in the Eastern Conference here. Boston.
This is a monster. This is a monster.
So I know that it causes some concern because teams are trying to get better. But what do you think our chances are as it relates to the acquisitions that have been made around the Eastern Conference?
Look, the East is a monster. We can't control some of the blockbuster trades that we made. We made our blockbuster trade, and we're very, very fortunate to have Donovan Mitchell to be able to compete with the teams, the elite teams in the league. I'm excited. I'm ready. I think our group is ready to go up against what we call juggernauts of the East and put our place in there. You know what I mean? We want to be on that elite in that elite conversation. Last year, only 6 teams won 50-plus games. We were one of those teams. And so they have to see us too, and they have to see the internal growth that's come from us, and they have to see a new version of the Cavaliers with the acquisitions you talked about. We're going to continue to grow and be a really tough out.
That is Kobe Altman, president of basketball operations of the Cleveland Cavaliers, joining us to start the official first ever UCSS remote. Kobe, we appreciate you.
Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it.
And Jacob Lefkowitz says hi from New Jersey. I know he's Jacob's my guy too. So we appreciate it. Kobe. Thank you so much again. And how about that sound with a bang, Brad?
Listen here.
Mr. Kobe Altman himself is joining us off the top.
Bigger. I mean, and he jumped right into it. Let me tell you what we're doing here. Let me tell you why we're doing it.
We're going from one heavy hitter to the next. We go from
we don't start at the bottom. We start at the top.
Mr. J.B. Victor says, Coach, how you doing today?
I'm great, man. Man, how are
We're
you?
doing phenomenal. Thank you for joining us here for the first ever live remote Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. We got cameras working now. People can't do the laptops anymore. Coach can see himself in the laptop because we got early cameras. Coach, last season, first round playoff exit. You guys had Max Strus, George Niang. You come back, and I got to imagine the excitement inside the locker room with all the pieces you guys have added. Has the excitement level for this season at an all-time high here?
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. And, it's one of those things where, it's like school let out. People went their separate ways. Now we're all back together, and we're excited to be with this group. Like, I've said this multiple times. Like, I haven't had one bad day of work with this group. So you start to miss them over the summer. So it's fun to be back together whole, be back together as a team. And you're with a group of guys who want to get the job done. So you don't go into camp, trying to figure out how do you fight this battle? How do you fight that battle? We go into camp trying to get a job done. And that's exciting in itself.
The offseason after the playoff, do the players stay around here or do they go back their own separate ways? What happens and how much touch do you have with them in the summertime?
We do a pretty good job as a group of staying in touch. What we try to do is at least once a month we get the group together. So in June last year, we were here in Cleveland. In July, we were in Vegas for Summer League. In August, the guys got together in Miami. And then early September, we were in Connecticut with the guys and then back here in Cleveland. So, everybody needs a little bit of a break, but it's still important that we stay connected. So, whether it's text chains, phone calls, FaceTimes, we spend quite a bit of time together. We go out and visit guys. So we make sure that we stay connected because, one of our strengths is our group, and how close they are and how they want to support each other and how much they enjoy being around each other. So we don't want to let them get too far away.
The Sonics. That was a tight group. That group was tight. They're still tight, right? I just saw X out in Las Vegas when I came out to watch the Summer League.
Yeah.
So my thought to you, or my question to you is this, and I asked Kobe this: your ability to resist the urge to blow it up, and when you lose a certain way, the crowd screams, "Oh, we got to make that change." And the Cavs didn't do that because I feel like you felt like you had a core here that you could work with. Speak to that.
Yeah, we try to do our job based on basketball reality, right? And the reality of the NBA is it's not easy. The reality of the NBA is nobody reaches ultimate success overnight. Every single team that's ended up winning a championship has gone through ups and downs and trials and tribulations and adversity and then figured out a way, right? I think this summer was a perfect example. You look at the Miami Heat, you look at the Denver Nuggets, they're examples of consistency, right? The Denver Nuggets, they found their core. And then through the process of losing in the playoffs, winning in the playoffs, they went and made additions that they thought would be able to help them get to where they wanted to go. It wasn't easy, right? Mike Malone, I think, has been there now 8 years. Jokic and Jamal Murray have been together, 5-6+ years figuring it out. So Miami obviously has had their system in place for a long, long time with Spo and Pat Riley and, Jimmy Butler and Bam and on and on and on. So that's what the NBA is about, is you want to put yourself in position to be successful, but it takes you time to get there. And the consistency in both of those organizations is what gives them a chance to be successful. And that's what we're trying to model here with that consistency.
Coach, I know Kobe talked about it, and you have to diversify the offensive attack after what you saw last season. So you bring in Max Strus, you bring in George Niang to help spread the floor with two elite shooters in their own capacity. George more of a pick and pop stand, still got Max as good as anyone coming off screens. How much freedom does that give guys like Darius and Donovan to be able to create more within the flow of the offense, knowing they have guys in the corner now who are coming off screens who are pretty damn knockdown shooters?
Well, different level of respect that the NBA has for guys like that. You're a guy like George who shot 40+% from three. Max shot, 35% overall, but was 40+% on standstill, right? So people respect those guys in a different way. So now you imagine Max running full speed off the backside of an action. Maybe it's a Jared Allen screen, and now you've got Donovan, Darius, or Karras, and Evan on the strong side. And now teams have to make tough decisions. They've got to guard both sides of the floor, which gives your offense an advantage because you're playing disadvantaged basketball. So I think what it does is it allows everybody to do more. because there's a concentrated effort on the defense to try to stop more people. So now they can't just focus and put 10 eyes on certain players.
That's a good point that you just made. So what does that mean as it relates to Isaac Okoro and his role going forward for this upcoming season?
You know what? We love Isaac. And Isaac is a type of guy that, people continually want to write off. But Isaac's the type of guy that you need to have on the floor to be successful. Isaac is willing to do and accept the challenges that 98% of the NBA isn't willing to accept. He guards the other team's best player, no matter the position, without complaining. He knows how to be impactful without the ball in his hands. He dives on the floor for loose balls. Like, he's got a respect from his teammates because of his edge and his competitiveness that, he can lead this team in a different way than other people can. And again, like, you want to win, you put Isaac on the floor, and he's going to do all the things that may not go in the stat sheet or fans may not see, or they're not going to put on ESPN, but you got to have a guy like that to get the job done.
Coach, I know you got to run after this, but we'd be remiss if we didn't ask about some of the rookies that you guys have coming in. Amani Bates, Craig Porter Jr., some of the other guys who helped lead you guys to a Summer League title that are now hoping to contribute on the NBA level. What can we expect from some of those young guys early on in the season?
I mean, I think it's important that we're patient. I look at Imani and Craig both, and I see guys that were underappreciated in the process. Imani is an immense talent at 6'9", and he's a dead-eye shooter. He has the ability to make shots, but he has the ability to create shots. And one of the things I think that people don't realize is how good of an overall basketball player he is. Like, he can see the floor and make the right reads. He's not just a scorer. He knows how to play without the ball in his hands. So I think that's something for us, that we're extremely excited about. And Craig as well. Craig has a toughness, a grit where he just plays bigger than he is. Exactly. Like, you watch, and if you watch him in a workout, you're like, oh, Craig, he's a good player. But then you watch the impact that he has on a 5-on-5 game, and he raises the level every time he's on the floor.
That's Coach Bickerstaff. We appreciate you taking some time to join us today, Coach. Best of luck this upcoming season.
Very much.
I just want to say one thing. The ability for you to have in your pocket your father and his experience. Talk about, because people don't understand, your father has been an NBA world champion, led a great organization. How easy, not easy, but how much of a value is it to you to be able to pick up the phone and say, what do you see there?
It's second to none. You know what I mean? Like, there's no greater role model for one, but outlet, someone who I can talk to and just be completely honest with. And he's going to be completely honest with me and give me the direct feedback that sometimes you don't want to hear, but he's going to tell you the truth. Exactly. And you know that, so I'm lucky. I'm blessed. I've said this before, I never had to look outside of my house for a role model, right? Him and my mom were the people I wanted to be most like when I grew up. So, I trust him ultimately, but he's got, all the experience and been through 50 years of the NBA. To help guide me and, show me the way. So I'm lucky and appreciative.
For the second time, Coach Bickerstaff, we appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
Best of luck this season, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to take my mic off. We'll switcheroo here.
Okay.
You don't have to change anything. I'm going to change the settings on your mic. And we're going to share a mic because I guess this one's echoing a little bit. Is that what the people are saying out there? So, Brad, pass this to me.
There you go.
This is UCSS on the fly, and this should pick up Brad and myself now pretty evenly. Brad, I'm going to scoot over a little closer to you if you don't mind here.
No problem.
We may have to readjust the shot a little bit here.
Actually, Brad, you scooting yourself.
And this is what happens here at UCSS. We get new equipment, we test it out, it works. Sometimes it doesn't work, but this lav mic we bought just for this, and I guess it's not working. But Brad, we heard from Kobe, we heard from JB. I mean, two of the biggest guys in the whole building to start off with, and it sounds like more than anything else, they're excited about the offensive versatility guys like Niang and Max Strus bring to this.
Well, what I heard was this: the ability to recognize the valuable assets that you have, not to panic and say, "Hold on, let me try to sprinkle in some other pieces here to make the pieces that I have maybe better." And we're doing that. We're doing that by allowing people's games to grow. The addition of Niang and Strus should open up the floor for a guy like Evan Mobley.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want his game to grow, you have to give him more touches and say, okay, what are you going to do going forward? And so I think the acquisitions that they feel very confident in the acquisitions that they have.
I was talking to Earl this morning, and no matter how I slice and dice how I see this Cavs team stacking up against the Bucks, now the Celtics, which are holiday, I think the biggest thing is Evan Mobley going to take that next step and become the perennial all-star we all think he can be, the guy that he's shown the potential to be. Because if you look at Milwaukee, they still got Giannis. When you look at Boston, Tatum, Jaylen Brown, NBA's highest-paid player now, the Cavs have the guards. They have the big, but we got to see if they have that ability to cover the big perimeter forwards on the outside, and that's where Mobley, who is unbelievable defensively already, could take his game up to the next level if he has a little bit more offense and kind of get into not the same conversation as those guys, but at least in the same atmosphere.
Well, I think it's just not adding the offense; it is really the mentality, because he really has become a little more greedy, right?
More aggressive for sure.
He has to be like, I want to grow my game. I'm a position myself so that the fact that the team can come out and count on me for so many points, so much production. This is what we're about to do.
And we're going to welcome in our next guest here. It is the one, the only, Isaac Okoro, the Auburn Tiger. I don't know if Isaac remembers, but last year, Isaac, hit with us last year. Your old coach, Virgo's my guy from back in the day. So we go back. Isaac, how does it feel? New season, you guys getting ready? Excitement, I gotta imagine. As high as it could be considering the offseason additions you guys made this year.
Yeah, man, we all feel good as a team right now. We brought in, the new additions of Max, George, Ty, Damian, Tristan. So, I feel like we're a complete team. If we all just play our roles this year, play hard, we feel like we have a good chance.
What's it like having a guy like Tristan Thompson back in the fold now? He's almost twice his old money.
Yeah, he's a veteran guy. He's been on championship teams. He knows ins and outs of the playoffs and how hard it is to get to the finals and win a championship. So, he's just going to lead us, give us advice and, show us the way.
So, let's talk about it. So, bring a guy like Tristan Thompson in the fold has a wealth of experience, right? So that the younger players can draw from. So, that's a plus in that column. So, the guys after the playoff loss, you had to go back, hone into your game. What did you do this summer to prepare you for this upcoming season?
Just pretty much work out my whole all-around game. Ball handling, shooting. Just honing in on all my skills on my offensive side to, fix that and, become a better player this season.
You can, your defensive prowess is, I think, unmatched in this Eastern Conference. You have a chance to be on the offensive team if you get it on a nightly basis. Are you aware and ready to take that next step? Because defense in this league in the Eastern Conference is what wins in the playoffs. It absolutely does.
I'm ready to play defense. I take pride in guarding the best players in the league day in and day out. So I'm always ready to take the challenge, ready for anything.
Eastern Conference, Isaac. Milwaukee just got Dame Lillard. The Celtics just traded for Drew Holiday. You still feel like the Cavs have the firepower to contend with those top teams in the East? Because I'll answer first. I do.
Sure. We're really not worried about what other teams are doing. We're worried about the Cleveland Cavaliers and how we can get better, each and every day. So we do what we can do to get better ourselves, and we'll feel like we're fine.
So if you look on the projection going forward, the additions should have put the Cavaliers in a position to address the needs that they had last season. You think you're a more complete team now?
Yeah, for sure. I for sure feel like we're a better team than we were last year. Like I said, we're keep getting better each and every day, honing our own skills. Become more of a team players, and just be better.
We'll get you out of here with this, Isaac, but you guys have added an infusion of young talent. Amani, Craig, some of these guys that helped win a Summer League championship here. How much fun has it been getting to see these guys develop from second-round picks, undrafted guys, and the guys that are looking to contribute to this team? And I've seen some videos. They seem like some fun guys.
They definitely have a whole bunch of skill and talent. Just playing with them, throughout the summer at our different camps and stuff, those guys got tremendous talent and skill, and they can definitely score the basketball.
Mr. Curl, appreciate you. Best of luck upcoming season. We'll see you around, Isaac. There were some moments last year where Isaac flashed some offensive game that it has become more consistent. He knows that, but when it flashes, it certainly does flash for him. And when it's offensively working, defensively, it all comes into pieces a valuable contributor on an NBA roster.
Teams that do well in the NBA, they look at the players that they have, and they look at what skill sets you bring to the table. They don't focus on so much what you don't bring to the table. You take those players and put them in a position to be successful. Isaac Okoro has some skill sets that make teams better.
Yeah.
Now, if we focus in on that, it grows his confidence forward. It allows him to feel like I can contribute, and this is what I bring to the table. And that's what the better team in this league do.
Isaac hit that game-winning shot. I think it was against the Nets.
Yeah.
The corner buzzer beater three.
Kick out from LeVert.
And we all talked about how that could be the turning point for him, getting his confidence. Because as a shooter, Brad, you see a couple go in, and next thing you know, you go from a 30% shooter to a 40% shooter. And it's streaky. It's not going to last forever, but you got to see a couple go in. And I think after an offseason, he knows it's put up or shut up time. Well, top 5 pick, and it's time to prove why they took him so high.
I don't need you to be a guy that hit 8 out of 10. I just need you to be a guy that is not thought of as a guy who can't shoot the ball and I can back up off of him, right?
Yeah.
So as long as they think you're a threat, it opens like Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Karis LeVert, Mobley, it does, right? So you have to have the confidence that this is what I bring to the table. You kick it to me, I'm going to stroke it. Now, whether I make it or not, it's 50-50 when I shoot this ball, right?
Yeah.
But we can't have you in a position where you feel like, well, I got to swing it back to the guy because I'm not expected to shoot. That's not it.
And when you have guys like Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, and even guys who may not be creators off the dribble, but they're gravitators and Strus and Niang, who you can't just sack off of.
Right.
There's going to be open shots for Okoro in this offense. It's just a matter of will he be able to step up and knock him down when his number's called.
That's what it's all about. So that's why I asked about the question, what did you do in the offseason to grow your game? Because, listen, they're counting on him in a number of facets, whether it be as a defender or whether it be as a top 8-9 rotation guy, contributor. He's going to be counted on. The thing that he has to remember is that he is a high draft choice. And with that comes the ability to say, listen, I can compete at a high level. Yes, remember that.
Yeah, and we're going to take a mini break. Anthony, throw up the bars for a second. I'm getting text from Steve that we got to adjust the mic here. So just throw up bars. We'll be back in 1 sec here from Cavs. All right, we are back here. Hopefully the audio sounds a little better here, Brad. We had to switch a mic setting. Apparently the live mic wasn't working. And Anthony texted us if this doesn't sound better, because then we'll have to figure out what to do next. The most important thing is, though, the guests sound good.
This is live TV.
The guests sound good. This is live TV.
This is live TV.
And listen, we love Earl and Anthony. Anthony's directing his first live show.
All right.
Outside of a traditional UCSS with real mics. He says stay leaning in, so we're going to keep leaning in here. But Earl's running cameras for, I think, the first time in his life. So, yeah, this is what happens when you test things out on the fly, and we're going to make the best of it. But at the end of the day, we are here at Rocket Mortgage FieldHouse. It is Cavs Media Day. It is a beautiful afternoon here in Cleveland. We see players go. We saw Evan Mobley, right? You can see him walking over there. It's pretty evident he spent some time in the weight room this summer. Like, he's still not, the most jacked guy you've ever seen, but he was relatively frail. I don't think you can say that's relatively frail. He's got some real definition on him.
No, he's growing into his body. I mean, he's only 22 years old. 22 years old. I mean, you don't see guys really fulfill themselves like 28 years old. So that's when they usually hit their stride here. And so, but you can tell that his physique has gotten better.
And we're about to be joined here by Caris LeVert here in a sec. So we were going to get our next Cavs guest on with us. That dude could ball, by the way. He's got one of the shiftiest offensive games. His stop-start is impeccable. And there's very few guys in the NBA who move kind of like Caris does.
He's an Ohio guy.
He went to Michigan.
That's
man.
all right.
It's kind of in between.
Don't worry about that.
I like how Earl daps up all our guests before they sit down. Caris, you want to come over here, man? This is all you right here.
Baby. What's up, baby?
Caris, how you doing? Good to see you again, man. Good to see you again.
I know my LeVert songs.
So we are joined now by Caris LeVert, Cavs. Uber talented offensive weapon, bit of a combo guard, a 2-3 can play the one. Hell, I bet you Caris can play center if Coach JB asked him to, if he needed to. He says it's a fact. Caris, what's the number one thing you've been working on this offseason to take your game from where it was at the end of last year to an even higher level this season?
Me, just shooting. I think shooting off the dribble, shooting off the catch, shooting in different situations, off the screens, transition, pick and roll. I think just continue to add that aspect of my game would be huge, along with the continued defense that I showed last year, to just help this team. We got so many weapons offensively and defensively. We're so versatile, and I feel like I add to that perfectly.
And so talk about, you found a comfort level here in Cleveland. It appears you found a comfort level here in Cleveland. Is that impacted by you being from Pickerington? How often are you getting back down there?
I actually haven't been to Columbus in a while. It's been a minute, but that definitely does help. Being from here, being from Ohio, having ties to the Columbus area. It's a dream come true playing for the Cavaliers, being from Central Ohio.
Well, I gotta ask real quick then. Ohio State, Michigan. Do you have torn allegiance when that football comes around? Because I know you went to Michigan, but you're from the Columbus area, so.
Yeah, I'm a Michigan fan now, man. I'm an alumni. I'm a Michigan. I know a lot of Cavs fans around here don't really like Michigan guys, but I'm a Michigan guy.
I feel like the buffer in between Mr. Buckeye and Mr. Wolverine.
Listen, that's all good. He's from Columbus, right? He did his thing, right?
Listen, Ohio State did
recruit me, so y'all can't have no smoke with me about going to Michigan. Fair. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Yeah.
Caris, you talked about adding Max Strus, Niang. You obviously have Donovan, Darius. Evan hopefully takes that next step forward offensively. Can you touch on the challenges of not getting, I don't want to say disappointed is the right word, but there's so many guys who are valuable offensive options for this team. So it's not your night. Some nights, you may only get 8 shots as opposed to the 13, 14. You probably deserve. How do you not get frustrated?
I think for me, that was me last season. Coming from shooting 15 to 20 times a game, obviously in Brooklyn and Indiana. Obviously coming here was more like 8 to 12 shots a game. You know what I mean? But for me, it's all about winning. I just want to win, whether that be 8 shots or 20 shots. I want to win games. I want to impact winning on both sides of the ball. So, the shot attempts don't necessarily matter to me.
You're a valuable commodity of this team, right? And I think as the season went on, I think that became more and more evident to the people that watch this team on a daily basis. Your comfort about being with this team and your role obviously evolved. Going forward, though, for this upcoming season, how do you feel like that's going to help you going for this season?
Yeah. Obviously, this season we got some new players. We got some more shooting on the perimeter with Max Strus, Niang, Ty Jerome. All those guys can really shoot at a high level. And I feel like that'll open up the floor for myself, for Donovan, for Darius, create more driving lanes, create more opportunities to spray out for threes. So I think we're all looking forward to playing with the more space.
Cash, we got 1 minute before we have to let you go, but I gotta ask, what's the group chat look like when you hear about the Dame Lillard trade or Drew Holiday or something like that? How does the other 29, 28 teams in the NBA, it's kind of the group chat react to news like that?
For us, it was like, gotta see us 4 times.
I love
you know
that.
What I mean? Like, we're not scared of any, situation. We are competitors. You know what I mean? We want everybody to come out with their best. So they got to see us too. You know what I mean?
Eric, we appreciate you. Best of luck this season.
Absolutely.
And
Cobb, you said hello.
I will. Yeah, definitely do that.
That is Karis Silver. Karis, we appreciate you, man.
All right.
You too. Hey, watch the flip real quick. Nope, all good. See, it happens to the best of us. Karis Silver can tiptoe through 3 7-footers on defense and Euro step his way through the best of them, but he can't escape the UCSS mic.
No, but here, you talk about a man has grown his game. He's found a role here. And that's why I want to touch upon him being from Ohio, because his ability to, sometimes when you got family and friends around here,
It's tough to play at home.
It can just calm you down. So he's far enough away, but close enough if he needs to dip back in, he can dip back in. But I think that had to do with him re-signing here and finding his role here.
And it looks like we have our next guest coming on. And this is actually a guest that we have had on the show before. He is the first Cav. Craig, how you doing, man? Take a seat, Craig. This is Craig Porter Jr. Craig was kind enough to join us, I'll say about a month ago, right as football season was starting. We had a blast talking to Craig. We talked about dunking, which is something I've never been able to do. We talked about his Jordans. We talked about winning the Summer League championship. And Craig, now you are here at Rocket Mortgage FieldHouse for Cavs Media Day, your rookie inaugural season. Does today kind of make it feel more real that you've reached this level of the NBA?
I still kind of got that same answer until I step on that court with those guys and play against some of those guys. I grew up watching. I don't think it'll hit me until then. So.
Talk about. I went out to Vegas and saw you out in Vegas. How's that feel when you're out there? Because especially when you're playing in the smaller gym in Vegas, it was a more tighter crowd. How did that feel to be out there running against those players and just being on this upper echelon level of NBA basketball?
Different at first, especially playing with a whole new team and a bunch of new guys that I wasn't really familiar with at first. But I feel like as the days went on, it got a lot easier because, you just naturally get comfortable to those things. But, it was an experience, you go through those things in life. And I feel like me and my teammates handled the whole situation the right way. And, just competing against some of those guys that were out there, those are some of the guys you're going to see still playing in the next 10, 15 years. So, you can't do anything but tip your hat off to them. It's just a competitive game. So, just being able to be out there is just a blessing.
Who have you learned the most from since you've gotten back from Summer League and here with the NBA squad? Who have you kind of learned the most from working out with and maybe pick something up from their game?
I say probably watching Karis and just watching his workouts. He's just one of those guys. He just goes hard, like super hard the whole time. He's on the court and he just takes it very serious. Not saying that everybody else doesn't go hard, but like he just does it on a whole different level that I haven't really seen from somebody who's been in the league almost 8-9 years. Sometimes guys typically they get comfortable. But he still has that determination and that grit, and it's just like. Just seeing him do some of the things he does, even guarding him, is just, I realize how difficult it is to play against some of these guys. So.
Out here and a young player coming into this league, you see these guys on TV, right? Now you're about to see them. Who do you want to see?
I keep seeing these interviews about what it's like guarding Curry, and I want to see if it takes everything you got. Because it's one of those, like, you watch the highlights, he's making ridiculous stuff. So, I just want to see what it's really like, and if when he makes those shots, if it's really just like that's what he does type of thing, or if it's like you're getting yelled at. So that's probably one of the things I want to see.
Along those same lines, Craig, I just asked Karis this, but when you hear the news from Woj that a guy like Damian Lillard gets traded into your division, what's the group chat reaction to a move like that?
At the end of the day, I feel like we all just realize, it's basketball. There's going to be trades that happen like that. And, for even people to be in this league, you have to kind of look at them almost the same way. So, we weren't really necessarily looking at it like, oh my God, we got to play them. It's more of like, well, we got just as many good players as they do. So I mean, it's really going to be a battle.
That's back-to-back great answer. I feel better about you guys now after hearing you and Karis answer that. Karis said they got to play us 4 times. I don't care what they're doing; they got to play us 4 times too.
So, Craig, you sit out here and as you look, and you've been working out with the guys all summer. You see a channel or avenue for yourself here to help out on this team. How do you think you can help this team?
One of the things I've kind of came to realize is a lot of people, have to learn to play a role, and that's kind of what'll make a person stick. And after even watching the playoffs last year with the Cavs, I feel like even with some of the coaches, what we've been stressing is kind of like our guards. We got to be better rebounders, and that's one of my strong suits, just rebounding and blocking shots at my height and size. So really, I feel like just that aspect of my game alone helps me a lot. And really, I mean, all the other things that I do very well, I mean, those just fall in line. But those rebounding, that's really a key for me.
Brad, this isn't a question for Craig. I'm going to tell you what Craig told us when he was on with us last. I asked him who he modeled his game after growing up.
All right.
And I'm going to give you what he said. And Craig, you back me up. I'm not lying. And I need your reaction.
Okay.
He said Rondo and Dwight Howard.
You've been through a lot.
That's a second here. Hold on now. Rondo, how you get that Rondo to Craig?
He plays a little bit like it.
No. I get the Rondo side. Now give me the Dwight Howard side.
Little goals when I was young, and I used to just dunk everything. And this was around like Dwight's prime, so when he was with the Magic. So, and this is one of those like, if I ever get tall like him, that's what I want to play like. But then then you don't grow, and now you got to pick somebody else. So
I'm calling the post game. I'll be like, that's little Dwight Howard right there.
Actually, yeah. If you actually watch some of my college highlights, we have a couple different plays to where I would just score in the post.
Well, in the summer league, you had a little. You get Chicago to end the game, a little hesitation. See,
I got some moves down low. I got some moves.
As he says that.
Like Craig.
Well, Craig, we appreciate you as always. Always welcome on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Best of luck this upcoming season, and we will see you soon, Craig. Enjoy, man. Man, these rookies are so fun to talk to.
Yeah.
When he came on UCSS a couple weeks ago, he was as down-to-earth, genuine as he could be, and it comes across talking to him in person. What a good dude. And I hope if it doesn't happen this year at the NBA level, he's going to start with the charge. He's going to have a role in the NBA at some point.
Let me tell you something. He played his butt off in the summer league.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm sitting there with Ed Pinckney, and
That's my guy.
we're sitting there watching like, whoa, what do we have here? And see, that speaks to the evaluation staff of the Cavaliers. You're finding people that aren't top tier, frontline thinking of people. And he's come out here and he played on this team and he played exceptionally well.
Yeah, and not only did he play well, but he was using a variety of different roles on that summer league team, which to me was the most impressive. He's a point guard by nature.
Yeah.
But he played the role of a scoring guard at times. He was the facility. He was their stopper, too.
Yeah.
He played all 3 roles, and I think that versatility, even if it is summer league, it's not the NBA. We understand the level of competition is a little different, but he showcased that he has all the different capabilities and skill sets that could translate to the Cavs at some point.
Right. That's what it's about. You're finding people that ultimately, in the long run, can help you get to a place you're trying to go. Right. We didn't win a championship last year. We're trying to win a championship. So we are looking at everything and everybody to see if they can help us.
As we await our next guest, Brad, I got to ask you, do you have any media day memories from your playing career that you want to share with us today?
It's been so long ago.
I didn't mean it like that, bro.
Well, it's so long ago. The thing I remember is, my first media day was in Chicago. I mean, if you ever seen an entourage follow Jordan around, it's like, that is unbelievable. Right? That's what I remember, how much of a circus it was watching him follow one guy around here. And so the beautiful thing about the Cavs organization is they have adapted their media day to be able to meet the needs of the media. And so instead of having it in a smaller location, they have it in a bigger location at a time that's convenient for everyone and bring everybody together in one stop and have access. We have access to all the players.
It's awesome, and there's a few guys that I'm dying to talk to. I see George Niang over there doing an interview with somebody. He's going to make his way over to us at some point, and I can't wait to talk to George, who is, if you've never heard an interview with George, one of the funniest dudes you're going to meet in a long time. And we actually have some mutual connections from back in the day I'm excited to talk to George about. But also, I want to talk to Evan Mobley. At some point, Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell are going to come through here, and hopefully they're going to come sit down with us and talk a little ball.
Well, listen, while we're on that, I want to make sure I just saw Tristan Thompson walking around.
He's wearing number 12, by the way. It's a good-looking number.
I like to grab him back and see exactly what his thoughts are. Now, because you're on the second tour here, right? And so I guarantee you it's going to be a lot different on the second tour than it was on the first.
Is that him? I can't see who's dribbling behind the camera lights to our left here, Brad. But is that? No, I see hands. It's definitely not his hands. I don't know who it is, but it's definitely not his. Tristan Thompson. It is interesting they brought Tristan Thompson back though, Brad. They needed an enforcer and, if nothing else, a vocal leader. And Kobe kind of alluded to that, and JB did as well. But he brings something to this team that may not translate on the court per se, but will absolutely have a major impact on the locker room.
I've learned in my career that you cannot value enough a veteran voice in the locker room. Somebody who's been through the rigors, who's earned their stripes, and can come in and kind of give direction and encouragement to young players to help them see the things that you can't see. Because sometimes when you're young, you cannot see it.
You don't know what you don't know.
Right. So you're just going on what you know. And then when you hear from somebody that you go to work with every day that you trust and say, listen, don't do it like that. Think about doing it like this, right? And then it means the world. And then you heard Karis talk about work ethic here. And Craig Porter talk about the work ethic, seeing somebody seeing somebody work so hard, like, oh, that's the level I got to play at here.
Well, between him, Amani Bates, Sam Merrill, there's a couple guys who really showed out in Summer League that I do think are going to have a chance to compete for actual minutes come the regular season. Now, the playoff rotation's probably shrunk to 7, 8, 9 at tops.
Right.
You kind of know the guys who are going to be in that playoff rotation, but during the regular season, it's a battle of attrition, Brad. You know better than anybody.
Oh, yeah.
And there's going to be opportunities for these young guys to showcase what they can against the best competition in the world.
The playoff rotation is determined through the 82 regular season games. That's what that's done. So you're fighting for minutes and fighting for opportunities. And you never know when your opportunity is going to be called. But when it is called, will you be ready to capitalize on your minutes and turn 5 minutes into 10, turn 10 into 20? That's how your mentality has to be. Because everybody's not going to be blessed to be able to play 35 minutes off the rip.
Well, here comes Tristan Thompson. He just finished at the podium. I wonder if they're going to bring him through here because he would be one of the guys that I think would A, have fun with us, but B, genuinely would love to speak and get his 2 cents on coming back. And he was on ESPN 6 months ago.
I know he was.
He was on NBA Today breaking down games like you and I do, and now he's suited back up. Like, do you think that he had any intention of ever actually playing in the NBA again?
Well, I would say yes. By the quick way he left ESPN to go.
That's a good point. Yes. That's a very good point.
I would say yes. I would say this, but I want to just say, and I'm not saying it because he ended up here back in Cleveland doing the playoff run against the Knicks. The first name that came to mind was Tristan Thompson. That's who came to my mind as a person that could help this franchise, right? So, and then a few weeks later, to see him actually be signed here with the Cavaliers, I was like, whoa. They must see the same things I see.
And look who we have joining us now. As Earl goes and flags down some more players, we have Mr. Jason Lloyd, Mr. Lloyd himself. Earl's going over to try and flag down Amani Bates for us, which is a must-get for us based on how we covered him the last couple months. But, Jason, what's your early takeaway from Media Day? And really, to me, I asked you the question, I'm going to answer it myself. Evan Mobley looks like he's put on 10, 15 pounds of muscle.
He said, I think 7 pounds. Are we supposed to talk into these or sit down?
You're close enough.
All right. He said he's put on 7 pounds of muscle. You know how this goes, Brad. Media Day, everybody puts on muscle. Everybody's in the best shape of their life on this day. But he said he put in a home gym this year. So it kind of shows his dedication and, to the craft. And he's got to be bigger, stronger. And I think that's pretty evident in how he played last year. So it's a good thing.
Well, yeah, and Jason, I look at it like this. I mean, you just want his game to evolve, right? Yeah, I'm not looking for him to be Herculoid out here, right? Because Karl Malone is only Karl Malone, right? When I see a guy like Garnett went from skinny to just wiry, stronger, and he found his way. That's how I see Evan Mobley's path coming. The question is, have we added enough firepower out here to allow his game to grow? And I think we've done that by adding the shooters and the guys who can space the floor to give him room to operate.
the thing that they did that they couldn't do last year, they can do now. You can put 4 shooters on the floor. You can put Evan at center and put 4 shooters on the floor. You can put Strus and Niang out there with Donovan or Darius or whatever combination you want. And you can open up driving lanes. And they couldn't do that last year. The floor was too lopsided, congested, whatever word you want to use. So that's one of the big things I like about their offseason. It's just the way that it should be a little bit more balanced now on the floor than it was before.
I see Hayden Grove walking around here, by the way. Hayden's limping like he played in the game yesterday. I'm not sure what happened to Hayden, but he looks like he walked out there like Joel Batonio walked out of the locker room, or like Miles. He should be wearing a boot. Back to the Cavs at hand, and we love Hayden, by the way. Hayden's my guy, so I can say that without him getting mad. We just should bring Hayden on at some point when he's walking around. But speaking of the Cavs, Jason, Niang, Strus, you look at the additions, the added space this will create. I think out of everybody on this roster, those 2 additions help Darius Garland more than anyone else. And I would expect his numbers, and he was at 20-8 last season, which any team in the league is going to take 20-8 from your 23-year-old point guard. Yeah. I'm putting all my stock in Darius Garland to take that next level again from really good all-star caliber to a guy we're talking about as one of the best point guards in basketball.
Yeah, the thing that's going to help them is if Max Strus can stand in the corner and make a 3. That's really what they need from him. And that didn't happen last year. Is George coming over? I'll jump.
George, yeah, we're gonna kick out Jason Lowe. We're gonna bring in George Niang.
They shouldn't finish your thought.
Jason, no, we were just talking about George.
That's perfect timing.
George, how you doing, man? What's up, Mike Lucas, pleasure to meet you.
Hey, George. Brad Sellers. How you doing?
George, take a seat. This is the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
Oh.
Yes.
You know my guy, Eli Kelly.
That's fine. He will be the best man at my wedding.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so me and George actually have some mutual connections. He's from Astoria.
Yes.
Atlanta.
Wow, Massachusetts.
Yep. So I went to Emerson with Eli. That's how we know. We go way back. But George, that's irrelevant. No one cares about our personal.
We're in Ohio.
We're in Ohio.
Come on now.
You're with the Cavaliers. It's your first media day. Before we get into this team and what you've seen so far today, what's your first impressions of Cleveland?
Oh, it's been great. I mean, obviously, I know people try and give Cleveland a bad rap, but like once you're here, I'm like, by the lake, there's a bunch of stuff to do, and if you know the right places to go, Cleveland's a great spot. It's a great spot. I've been having a lot of fun here, in and out the whole summer. Don't tell anybody. I've been enjoying myself.
But George, you made a transition from Philly to here, right? Playoff team to playoff team. You didn't end up in one of them teams that's out of the picture, right?
I wasn't good in that situation. Wait for myself and score. Who can do that?
You have an ability here because there's a need here. Yep. There's a need here, and. What do you see as you being able to do to help them fill the needs that they have?
No, I think that's a pretty obvious question. Take and make shots. Be able to create gravity where my defender is not sitting in the middle of the paint, slowing down. Whatever those 4 stars, need to get going. I think the biggest thing for me is watching the Cavs and making a decision on whether to come here. It was what I do and my ability, fits, what they wanted and needed at the time. And like I said, that's the take and make threes. There's going to be times for me to play make and make things happen. Being able to switch on defense, all of that. But at the same time, I think the biggest thing for me is space the floor and create space for guys like Donovan, DG, Evan, Karras, to be able to operate in space. Because I think those guys have proven on a night in, night out basis, you can't guard them with one person.
You've played with some of the best playmaking guards in the NBA throughout your career. Yes. James Harden in Philly, and this goes on and on.
Yeah.
What's your early impressions of Darius Garland and Donovan in the sense of their playmaking abilities in the grand scheme of their offense?
Let me tell you this. I'm so happy that I don't ever have to guard Darius Garland unless it's practice, and nobody gets to see that on a national level. So he is so shifty. He's so talented. I don't think the world gives him enough credit for what his abilities are. I mean, you look at his size and his skill, his ability to finish in the paint at that size, his ability to pass, shoot 40% from 3. He's an unbelievable talent. He's young. And I think that's the biggest thing that excites me is that this Cavaliers organization is going to win for a long time. And you have young, talented guys like him, Donovan, Evan, who, is just scratching the surface of who we can be from what I've seen. And it's impressive. And these guys are hungry. I'll give JB credit. He's instilled habits in them from when he had them really young to now to know what it takes to continue to be great and now evolving that into, winning and then eventually winning a championship.
Talk about I'm talking about your days in Philly. So this is typically have been a quiet group. Was the locker room in Philly quiet, or was it?
Every locker room is unique, right? Everyone's different. Whether if it was someone in Philly yip yapping, there was always something going on over there, and I understand that this locker room is quiet, but there's a lot of personality in this locker room, and I'm not sure everybody gets to see it because they're not there, but I'll tell you this is one of the best group of guys that I've been around where they actually care, and that's not easy to find in professional sports, and you have guys that care about each other and care about the right things and care about winning. Good things tend to happen, and I'm happy that I ended up here because this is going to be a fun ride this year. I can promise you that. There's going to be a lot of winning.
We got to let you out on this one. You bring a plethora of playoff experience to a roster that doesn't have a ton of it already. Yeah. What can you teach some of these young guys about not just playing in the playoffs, but what it takes to actually win in the playoffs?
Yeah.
Hopefully they take that next progression.
Yeah, I was just telling someone, down there, I mean, playoff basketball, compared to regular season basketball, it's like flag football compared to tackle football. And yeah, you may get screwed over, you may get tackled, and someone doesn't call a foul or this, that, and the third. But you got to get up and play the next play even harder. Like the attention to detail is even more. What I've realized with my playoff experience, and I think the biggest thing is compounding mistakes can't be a common thing, right? You have to. I can't do this. I can't get away with doing this. How can I be my best for the longest period of time? And I think these guys understand that. And Sam Merrill's clapping, so that means it's my time to go. But yeah, no, having playoff experience is real. I feel like I've learned a lot. But no, like I said, getting in there, no compounding mistakes, and playing hard and setting the tone with physicality. And I think that really matters and sounds well with this team.
That is George Niang, the newest sharpshooter for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Appreciate you, George.
Guys. Appreciate it.
We'll see you around. Listen, I wish I could shoot like Sam. I was a D3 sharpshooter, but never made it past those ranks. So yeah, safe draft. Let's bring him on. Yeah, listen. This might be the first time in my life I've had two people sit down next to me who are better shooters than me in consecutive. 41 in college. It's pretty good. I shot 43. I'm like, you're not a better shooter.
Crazy.
You're
crazy.
You played in the NBA.
Get out of here.
There was
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Brad.
Get out of here. You're in the YMCA league. Stop playing me.
Listen, we're here now with Sam Merrill, who's by far the better shooter than me and Brad combined. Sam, your ability to shoot the ball changes the complete geometry of how a defense has to guard whatever team you're on. How much fun is it for you knowing that you get so many other guys open just by your sheer presence on the court?
Yeah, I mean it's great to be able to help the team in that way. I haven't always been like that. I've always been a pretty good shooter, but in college I had the ball in my hands a lot and didn't shoot a ton of threes. It wasn't until obviously getting to the pros where that was kind of what I needed to do, and it's a great feeling when you got two guys running at you and know you can just pass to a guy who's wide open, and when you're coming off a screen and the team's worried about it, and when you get an open shot and you hear the opposing bench groan because they're pretty sure it's going in. So it's definitely a skill that I'm grateful to have.
Sam, so I would tell you that last year, calling a postseason game, a post game show for the Cavaliers, people would always talk about, we signed Sam Merrill, he's doing this for us, right? I go down to G League, see you out there. But I will tell you, when I went out to Vegas and saw you this summer, I was like, that's the guy that they've been talking about, right? So talk about how you feel like you can help this team this year. Because you got a year under your belt now. You know what it is.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, being in the G League last year was, it's not the most fancy place in the world, but it was a great experience for me. It kind of helped me get my swagger back that I hadn't had just because I hadn't played a whole lot my first couple of years out of college, and then obviously got to spend the last month and a half with the Cavs, and summer league was great for me. It's all about just gaining that upward momentum and developing. And again, some of the shots that I took in summer league are shots that I didn't used to take, but I feel like I've developed that confidence and. I always thought I was good enough, but now I know I'm good enough.
Right.
So, whenever that time comes, whenever that opportunity comes, I'll be ready to, be a guy that can knock down shots and open things up for other guys, but also it's, a super tough kid, super competitive, and at the end of the day, just wants to find a way to help the team win.
Speaking of competition, the Cavs brought in Max Strus, George, who was in with us as shooters for this team. Have you guys had a chance to have a legit three-point contest between you three yet? And if so, who won?
Not yet.
It's coming, though.
It is. It will. We'll have plenty of them. Me and Max did a light workout where we did some competitions, and I technically won, but it wasn't a good day for either of us, so we'll just call that one a wash. But yeah, I'm excited to see. We're all with the same agency, so there's a connection there, and so I'm excited to see how that goes with us.
Well, I'll tell you what, being from the same agency has some perks, right? Because there's a connection here, but there's a space for you here, right? This team is knocking on the door, and the Eastern Conference, as you know, just got tougher. It got tougher, right?
We got tougher,
right?
Yeah.
So, I think people underestimate that the acquisitions here that we've done in the offseason have put us in a better position than we ended the season last year. How do you see all that coming together?
Yeah, I think the front office and the coaching staff knew exactly what we needed, and it's not just the shooting that Max and George and Ty bring, but it's the toughness that those guys have. And, I wasn't with the team for most of the season, but it was a great season that ended not the way that we wanted it. But I think we were a much better team than we showed in that first round. I think there was an opportunity for us to make a run last year. So I think with these additions that we've made, and if we just continue to work hard and develop chemistry and grow as a team and as individuals, and we can make some real noise.
Sam, we get you on this, but we have to ask every shooter we have on the show this question. You can't say yourself or me. Who is the prettiest jump shot in the NBA?
Active?
Active, yeah. Or all time. Who is
My favorite jump shot, and I'm not just pandering here, is J.R. Smith. I love his form. His form is great.
So New Jersey, how can I be mad at that answer? Sam, we appreciate you. Hopefully you're making many threes here in the near future. That is Sam Merrill, the Cavaliers sharpshooter. Enjoy the rest of the day, Sam. Best luck this season. All right, back to what you were saying. There's no way you're a better shooter.
Come on. We'll come with dinners on it. I'll shoot you today.
If there was a bucket in here, but I would say let's get a ballers there right now.
There is upstairs.
We can't get the suit on.
There is upstairs.
But no, in all seriousness, we talked about Craig Porter Jr., Sam. I'm not sure we're going to get to talk to Amani or not, but these guys have a little bit of warranted – it's not cocky, but it's confidence. Warranted confidence after what they did this summer that they can contribute to this team this year.
Let me tell you what I just heard that I like. Sam Merrill just told me, he said, I thought I was good enough. He didn't know it. Then after this summer, he knows that he said, come on over here.
Sit down, man.
Come on over here, neighbor. He said that he now knows he's well enough. AC7, get ready to roll. I like sit down there.
I got to let my man know. I can't roll without hooking up with him.
That's the AC. So this is media day, is the kickoff of the season. You hear these young players, they're talking about what they think they can do, contribute here.
Right.
I feel it looks like the Cavaliers got.
Yes, right now it feels like it. Like they say on paper, but it feels like it from the players that we've brought in. I mean, and the players that we had, because Merle and Mobley's brother. Then they had good summers, super summers, kind of summers that you can use during the season, and with George coming in, Niang. I mean, to me and Strus. Yeah, get that weak stuff out of here. And I just think that we've changed the attitude a lot. I'm waiting to see what the locker room is going to be like. And Tristan,
yes.
I mean, this is fun. When I saw him again, it was like it was old. It was just like championship year. I got feeling. I said, boy, it's going to help the locker room a lot. Yeah.
When you look at how the Eastern Conference stacks up this year, AC, Bucks just got Dame Lillard. Celtics just got Drew Holiday.
Right.
And those may be bigger splashes per se.
Right.
But we can't underestimate the additions of Max Strus and George Niang to this team, especially filling a need that the Cavs desperately had, which was a lack of shooting. So when you look at those three teams, I know it's early and a million things can change before you get way down the season. But you think the Cavs can stack up roster to roster with those two top teams in the East right now?
Yeah, we can stack up with them. I mean, you think about it. See, the one thing that everybody gets caught up in is you see these are individuals that are joining these teams, but it's going to take a team to win it. And right now, those boys in Denver, they ain't going to give it up easy. They playing the game, so you got to be a team to beat to win it. You can't beat a bunch of individuals, and that does not. And Brad, it doesn't happen overnight.
And I look at this. I look at Boston's acquisition, right?
Yes.
So you picked up Drew Holiday,
well, they lost.
but you gave up Robert Williams.
Yeah. And Grant Williams.
Yeah, tough guys.
Right.
That's do the dirty work.
And Marcus Smart.
Because you cannot be thinking that Porzingis is going to do that.
That's
right.
Oh, no. Porzingis ain't going to do none of that.
So now you got to carry the front three.
Right.
I'm not sure how that's going to work out for you.
The one thing about the front, the three they lost, these are unproven players they're going to try to replace them with. And you know what that's like. Unproven people, that's not going to get it. So I don't. That was a good move for them to pick him up, but at the same time, the cupboard is bare over there.
They got to stay healthier. It's going to be.
That's everybody. Yeah. Everybody. You look at what happened to the Browns this weekend. I mean, you lose a quarterback, you lose a game. I mean, so it comes down to staying healthy.
See, how do you feel like your game would translate to today's NBA?
Oh, I love this. I love this because they can't touch me. I mean, as soon as I'm getting excited thinking about it. You're right, Brad. I mean, think about it. I mean, how can you cannot guard anybody with your forearm, and that's what you have to do now. You can't grab like we used to grab, touch. I could almost hit you. There's nothing but be said, but you can't guard anybody like that.
I think Brad did get hit a couple times.
You could get hit. Well, put it this way, back in them days, at Brad's size, he was going to catch hell. Because back then, the bigger you were, the more they'd beat on you, man. They beat on you, boy. Woo.
I'm going to tell you, as before, I was talking to JB and Kobe about this. Their ability to resist the need or urge to blow up the team after they're lost in the playoffs, right?
Yes.
And speak to that from the veteran standpoint. Why you don't do that?
Yeah, because first of all, you're not going to win it in 1 year. That just doesn't happen. And like JB was saying, so you have to build a unit, a camaraderie, and you got to have a situation where you go through bad times together. And what that does, that develops you mentally and physically. That makes everybody want the same goal. And once you get everybody on the same goal and that team, because you've played on teams like that, that's like utopia for a professional player to be on a team where everybody's on the same page. Man, that's a great feeling.
Man, I'm going to tell you, because when you're on a team that's not like that, how bad it is.
It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. You don't even go to work. You know what I mean? It's bad. You don't even want to be part of that. Yeah, it's really, people think it's all roses, but and really the biggest thing now is the money saves it all because guys can, but that might even make it worse though because a guy can just check out and go home because he got his money. I mean, but it's hard to try to win when everybody's not on the same page.
Hey, so what's your take on the NBA's new rest day policies?
Oh, yeah.
How guys...
Something had to be said. To tell you a quick story. One of the games we played last year, you remember when Golden State came in here and they set all those people? This guy had bought tickets for his family, his 4 kids and him, and back like 4 months ago, 4 months before the game, 3 months before the game. And it really hurt me, man, because watching those 3 kids cry because it just was bad, man. I never experienced anything like that. To watch kids cry because the guy they're not playing, man, it was really sad. And I think that's happened around the league so many times. A lot of people have kind of checked out, right? So and the league has to save itself. I think that's what they're trying to do.
Because the players have have a debt that they owe the fan base.
Yes,
right?
I agree.
And I will tell you that I think you and I had this conversation about a week ago. We did the Cavalier Roundtable. The older players, Mike, they don't like it at all.
Right.
They don't like you said not at all.
No, they
right?
don't.
No. Because you older people.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, if you're hurt, we got it.
Right,
we
right,
get it.
right.
Nope, sit down.
Yep.
But
right.
for you to tell me you tired,
Right.
But
that shows the difference. I think I told you the story about Butch Beard. My rookie year, I had twisted my ankle like the day before in a game, and so I'm sitting in the locker room before the game now. I got my foot in an ice thing. And so, because back then we were primitive, so we didn't have all that fancy stuff now. So I had a bucket and stuck my foot in it, and that was it. So he came, he walked by, he said, AC, can you walk? That was my mistake. I said, yes. He said, well, you got to tape up because we got to play. We're trying to win. And I was like, wow, man. And from that point on, man, that may be probably why I came back too early on my knee injuries, because I was always pushing myself to get back on the floor. Yeah.
Awesome. AC, we appreciate you taking a few minutes here to join us.
Always hang out with my partner.
Mr. Cavalier. Mr. Cavalier.
We're looking at his name.
Yeah,
right
Mr. Cavalier.
Right
the very first
AC,
name.
we appreciate you so
very
much.
first name retired.
We'll see you around soon.
Right. Take care. Have a good one.
Okay.
Brett, you ever consider writing a book?
Because if I write a book, I had to tell some tales here. All right, I'm not sure everybody be happy. Some things you have to take with you to the grave.
I get that. I just like when you and your guys get together, whether it's AC or whoever it's with. There's always
the one thing they keep it honest about. They keep it honest about.
We're getting Donovan Mitchell in 1 second, by the way. So
yeah, that's gonna be great.
Get the heavy hitters.
That's the lead dog here. That's the lead dog here. I said the thing about it is this: Cavaliers are position to be in the hunt, because all you want to be, Mike, is in the hunt.
That's all you can ask for.
I just want to be in the hunt.
You can't control so many things.
I just want to be in the hunt, right? And so the pieces we've added apparently appear to us that they've made some acquisitions that are going to put us in a better position.
Yes.
Now, you're still going to need your core top four to deliver. And that's what we're going to be looking for early in this year, to see if they are delivering at a higher clip or a better clip. Not a higher clip, but a better clip than last year.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. And so this is like me geeking out real quick on basketball.
Okay.
I see you talking to AC.
Yeah.
You guys swap stories, and obviously AC's story career, Mr. Cavalier. We're looking at his name in the rafters. Brad, you played in the NBA. Yeah. I bust your balls, but I can only dream of playing. Like I barely play. Yeah, I mean, listen, I was a D3 bench warmer for most of my life. Though I did shoot 41%.
There's no such thing.
Check the records. 41%. That is confirmed. But when you get to listen to guys like AC talk about how if he played in today's era, how it would have been different. How do you? I feel like your game was tailor-made for today's NBA. You just came around 25 years too early.
I'm early, right? And so the thing about it is, for me, that's why I always talk about veteran leadership. So as a kid growing up here in Warrensville, the majority of the Cavaliers lived in Warrensville when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. Like living in these high-rise apartments. And they would come across the street and play in the playground. And I would see them in the pickup just outside playing in the summertime. That's because you didn't have these fancy stuff where you come inside and play. The knowledge and institutional knowledge that they transferred to me during those summer sessions when I was a kid meant a world to me. So it better prepare me. So that's why I said, when you have a veteran inside the locker room that's well respected, it carries more than anybody thinks that it can carry here, because you can put a young player's career that might be slightly off track, you might get them back on track. And then they might be able to excel at their positions just because the tutelage and information they got from a player that had already done it carried more sway than the coach's sway.
Hey, my name's Chase. I'm a press play at Tyvis.
Oh, what's up, Chase? Yeah.
Congrats on the TV stuff. Man.
Oh, yeah, we appreciate that. Yeah, thank you so much, man. We appreciate that. Awesome. Yeah. No, Chase, nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, man.
And if you don't know, check out Tyvis, pal, because Tyvis is the absolute best. Oh, you're all good. No,
Dude, I am so sorry.
You're all good. No. This is live in the best way possible. 2 hours straight.
Sorry,
you're all good. But no, pleasure to meet you, Chase. Yeah. Yeah.
That's how we do. We just pull.
Oh, yo, you are all good. Yeah, hey, we kicked Jason Lloyd mid-sentence out because Niang was coming over. It is what it is. But you guys see, UCSS is fans all over the state of Ohio. He does a podcast with Tyvis in Columbus, and I've interacted with him on Twitter. Really good guy. I forget his name. Chase. I think it's Chase. I think Chase
That's
Price.
right.
I'll double check. But Chase is a good guy. Bro, we have to get Donovan Mitchell here in a second.
Yeah, you got.
I
think the last two you got here, Donovan, and I see Darius over there.
You see, Darius is coming. I can't wait to talk to Darius. Well, the last time I talked to Donovan was at Greg Newsom's charity softball event. And let me tell you something.
When he was hitting the ball?
His dad coached in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
So baseball runs through his family. That dude has a Major League caliber swing. Explicit word, you not. That dude, he's first of all, swings lefty. Yeah. We'll talk to him when he gets. We got to ask him about it. But he swings lefty, right, Earl? Swings lefty. And the home run derby, the dude hit, I would say 14 home runs. He eventually won the championship. But you can say, Earl, hop on the mic.
Real quick. I think he broke like 4 or 5 car windows when we was out there. No exaggeration. Like he was hitting them out the ballpark.
He didn't actually break him, but he was landing in the parking lot
We
territory.
got word that he broke some car windows.
Oh, he actually did.
He actually broke some car windows that was sitting in the parking lot. So
He was hit like that's a softball. Softballs don't go that far when it's soft tossed in like that.
Yeah.
He was hitting bombs. And also, can we shut the chatter up? And Earl, you can chime in on this. He was at the Browns game yesterday in a Lamar Jackson jersey.
That's his guy.
They went to Louisville together. Who cares? If he wants to support Lamar Jackson, support your boy.
That's his guy.
I tweeted about that. You know, your friendships, your personal relationships, if you take care of them and you nurture them, they last a whole lot longer than your playing career. And I think a lot of times fans forget they're humans first. And, you know, this is just your profession. That's his guy.
They went to Louisville together at the same time.
I tell you a short story. So the Cavaliers and Bulls had a history of playing one another in the playoffs. So Ron Harper was playing for the Cavaliers, my childhood friend, and myself. Do you know after every game, win, lose, or draw, he's waiting for me outside the locker room. I'm waiting for him outside the locker room so we can go eat together after the game. And I like,
your boys.
That's it. Didn't mean anything about the game.
So we about to get spiked. But I need you to clear the air.
Yes.
Because you put me on the work take of the list here. Because I said that Spider had a top 3 season in Cavaliers history.
He had a better season than anything LeBron did.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Yes.
I put a season up there with LeBron. So like just clear the air. He'll say he was up there. He'll tell you that.
He had a great. He's gonna be the first to admit it wasn't LeBron when he's here. He won. Like, bro, I love you, bro. Like you know you're my guy, but LeBron won MVPs here. It's like comparing filet mignon to stir fry steak. Like yeah, they're both beef, but two very different categories here. And that's not a shot. Listen, Donovan, that's not a shot. Well, you sit down in 1 second, but you know what I'm saying. Like, It's unfair to compare.
You're in high weeds here, right?
Yeah.
Ron got high weeds here, right?
By the way, Ron Harper's son.
Is
number 2 recruit in the country, right? Number 1, depending on which service.
Yeah, number 1. Not number 2, number 1.
And he's going to Rutgers, right? Committed to Rutgers at the moment.
So I know Rutgers is trying to swing it. Now
we'll see.
You know how this new wave kid goes. It could be anything.
And it could be. And we see Spider walking over here right now, so we're going to welcome Donovan Mitchell. Last year, Earl dapped up Spider. And there it is again.
I think it was 2.
I think it was 2. Donovan, how you doing? Nice to see you again, man.
Baby? What's going on?
We're enjoying now. This is, we've had guests come through. We've been waiting. This is the creme de la creme of the Cavs. The mic's on, Donovan. Don't worry. You're all good. Talking to it. See, he knows how mics work. We're just talking about your softball performance, Donovan. Baseball runs in your blood, but I'll be honest. I had a little bit of skepticism that you were as good as advertised at baseball, and you were even better.
They said you bust some windows.
Yeah, it was 2. One was a cop car. I know that. So the city is trying to get me back for that one. Yeah, I know, but I'm kidding. And then the other one was I forgot who it was, but it's definitely 2 cars over the. What do you call it? Yeah, over the fence.
I'm telling you, 400, 450 foot. Woo! Donovan, we are here. If you want to talk baseball all day, we can talk baseball all day. But I know the Mets didn't make the playoffs, so bit of a sore subject. Let's talk a little hoops, though. You guys have added Max Strus, George Niang. Offensively, there should be way more spacing this season for you guys to operate within than there was last season. How much does that kind of unlock your true creativity as a playmaker within the flow of the offense, having guys in the corner or knock down 40-45% shooters?
I think it's night and day. I think for myself, that's kind of what I've been accustomed to for most of my career. Obviously in Utah with Boyan, Mike, Jaron Clarkson, Royce O'Neal. So now you add Max, and obviously George was a part of that early in my career as well.
You add that to what we already have in myself, Darius, Karras, Evan, J.A. I think it's just going to make it a lot easier in the offensive end, being able to play off each other, not having to dominate the ball, being able to move around and whatnot. So, I think that's something that, will ultimately unlock us in different ways and, ultimately make us better.
Additions. Summertime. Acquisitions. Because, you know how it is in pro sports. You get put out the playoffs early, everybody starts panicking. It's like, oh, what is going on here? Relax. We added some pieces here, right? What did you do? What did you see about? What did you think about the pieces acquired? And then what did you have to do once you figured out what was coming to figure out how to place your game to take it to another level?
I think it addressed, obviously an obvious need, especially when you come down to the playoff series. But for myself, like I said, it wasn't too much of adjustment because before I was here, that's what I was around the spacing. So I think, obviously last year was adjustment to having less space, but I think now more so it's just getting back to making, the simple plays. And I think that's one thing that I learned in my time in Utah with the shooting that we had, is just making the simple plays. Sometimes defense, a lot of this is going to be the defense is just going to make us have to make a decision. We're going to make them make a decision. Which one do you want to take away today? You know what I mean? Do you want us to get to the rim? Do you want to find Evan? Do you want to find Jay? Or do you want to give it a 3-pointer shot? And 9 times out of 10, they're not giving up 3-point shots. So it creates gaps, creates lanes, and then naturally defense helps, and then guys are open for shots. And it's not just myself, it's not just Darius, it's not just Karras, it's different guys, finding ways to get into those seams and finding ways to create for each other. And hitting Ev, Jay in that half row, who are phenomenal playmakers in the half row. I think that's something that really can, like I said, unlock us in a different way.
I know in the regular season, you guys were phenomenal. One of the best teams, number 1 ranked defense. I think you finished second team All-NBA, 28 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. Beyond impressive numbers. The playoffs didn't end how anyone here in Cleveland would have wanted. Is that a little extra motivation heading into this offseason, Donovan, to kind of put that behind you, silence any doubters, and prove that you do belong in the upper echelon of the best players in the league?
Yeah, I think, we are in a world where it's, what have you done for me lately? You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you kind of have to. I can sit here and argue that point to you, or I can sit here and do something about it. You know what I mean? So I think for myself and for us as a group, we play like shit, and there's no other way to run around it. I think now we've heard it. We sit here and talk about it. We can talk about this for days, but I've moved past that part of it. It's more so what can we what can I do to be better? What can we do to be better? And I think that's how you continue to move forward. But if I sit here and say, man, play like shit, man, you constantly do that, you're going to deter yourself from moving forward and to your goals. So for myself and for this group, it's a learning lesson. There's a lot to learn from it, a lot to unpack, and a lot to figure out how we can be better. But, I've been really good in the playoffs. I've done this before. So now it's just, all right, let's get back to what you do. For myself. And then as a group, collectively, we haven't done it as a group, but individually, guys have done it in different areas. So how do we find a way to bring that together and, be good?
The latest and greatest, right? The Cavs are going to fly under the radar because of
Milwaukee,
Lillard going to Milwaukee, Holiday going to Boston, right? We're going to fly under the radar. You think that puts a better space?
I mean, I've had both, and to be honest, I've had pressure when you come into when we were 60-win team the year before, and then we came into an expectation. We ultimately didn't do well in Utah. And then I've also had situations like this where obviously the main story is the new additions that are in Milwaukee and in Boston, and you have Philly, what's going on over there. So it's no secret. I think for us, it's like whether all eyes are on us or all eyes aren't on us, we can only control what we can control. And I mean that through actually physically what we can control, but also on the floor. Whether it's turnovers, it's getting back on defense, getting stops. Ultimately, if we do what we need to do, we ain't worried about nothing else. And I think that's kind of been the message throughout the group is there's going to be something. There's always going to be talk. There's always going to be a different element put in front of us. But how do we focus on what we do and adjust to and honestly, we had to adjust to others, but also make others adjust to us and what we got going. And I think that's kind of, that's the mindset of the group.
We got time for 2 more, Donovan. So I'm going to let you choose my last question. Do you want the real basketball question or you want more of the silly off-topic one?
You can go real basketball. Why not?
All right. Last year, obviously, you and Darius played together for the first time. Different skill sets, but they overlap a little bit. You guys both best with the ball in your hands. How has it gone from last year kind of learning how to play with Darius to now knowing what you guys, from both sides, knowing what you guys do well and accentuating to take you guys as a backcourt to that even higher level?
I think, as much as we We did a lot last year, positive, a lot of positive stuff last year. Obviously, we all look at the playoffs here, like, oh, this didn't go well, but we did a lot of. We won 51 games as a duo and as a team. But for myself and DG, like I can sit here and have a conversation with you consistently, like, yeah, when I'm tired, I like this, or when I like to be this, or I like to be that. I can sit here and tell you that, and you'll understand it. We'll have an understanding, and we'll get out there and do it. But once you go through that, on like I keep saying this, on like a random Thursday in February, on a random Tuesday on a back-to-back where you're tired, okay, now I know I need to get my behind to this corner because that's my outlet pass on the wraparound. I need to know, like, hey, he takes in one dribble, he's looking, and he's going to the basket. How does he get Ev and J.A.? How does he unlock them? Because he's phenomenal at that. I can be better at that. And then, like, different things like that. That just comes from playing with each other. That comes from a year of experience that ultimately a conversation, practice, it gets you, but not the same as an actual game. I think so. Those reps, I think, are the biggest thing that we can take from each other. And I think something that for him, I think he's grown in a lot of ways. I think he's grown in his intelligence of the game has grown. I think there's different things that I was fortunate, obviously to play with guys who taught me a lot of what I was teaching him and what he's and been learning. And now he's coming out, being able to dictate, point out different things. And we've had team camp this summer where we played 2 different weeks, one in Miami, one in New York, where we're continuously just working together as a team and kind of implementing those different things with each other. So I think there's a lot more we can accomplish and get done.
I mean, we appreciate you. Best luck this upcoming season. Keep hitting home runs and 3-pointers here at Rocket Mortgage FieldHouse. That's Donovan Mitchell of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Donovan, we appreciate you, man. Best of luck. Basketball with Donovan all day. The way he describes stuff from a high intellectual level, but so simple. It's impressive.
There's a guy that's been around. He's seen it, right? He's not panicking. I know he's going to be prepared to go. The good thing is for us is that he's the leading voice in that locker room. Yes.
And him and Darius Garland, and he just mentioned it. We're going to talk to Darius in a second about it. But that connection, there's not a more talented guard tandem, maybe in the entire Eastern Conference.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you.
In terms of guards,
this live TV.
There may be better, if you want to say Dame and Giannis, that's a guard.
Well, that's a guard forward.
Tatum and Brown.
You talking one and a two. You talking about one and a two. There's no better one and two in the Eastern Conference.
And people try telling me Atlanta was better.
No,
I can't buy into the Trae Young stuff, man. I can't.
No.
I just don't think he plays winning basketball.
Well, have they won?
Point in case. I mean, point in case, yeah.
You win a game or two. I mean, that's not winning.
I think the worst thing that actually happened to the Hawks was them beating the Knicks that one year and making a decent run in the playoffs that 1 year because they haven't done anything else since. It's like the Mavericks too.
It all comes back to earth. Right?
You could have a good run, but
I'll tell you what, it's been a great. I mean, here. Listen, when you come to these media days, typically, let me tell you how it works. The stars go early so they can leave, right?
Yeah.
And I'm looking around this room. Everybody's gone but the 2 stars. The 2 stars are here.
And there's even media starting to pack up
right.
and leave.
The 2 stars are the last one. This is unheard of, right? This tells you about your commitment to being here because the stars are the first ones to go so they can leave, right? Darius and Donovan are the last 2, I believe, here.
I see George was just walking over there. Actually, there's Isaac doing an interview back there. But for the most part, most of the players have come and gone. And last year, but I'm not sure if you were still here, Brad.
He was the last one. Donovan was the last one.
We did the last interview of Media Day with Donovan Mitchell. Someone's speaking at the podium now, too. I can't tell who's at the podium. Can you see through?
I think that's Jared Allen.
Jared Allen?
Yeah.
Oh, another one of their core four who's still here. So I do think that proves to your point.
Because the rookies are all gone.
Rookies are gone.
They're gone.
Either they did it backwards, which I've never heard of a team.
No, you never hear that.
Or these guys are just committed to making sure they deliver. I mean,
well, they're the face of the franchise.
And they're putting on a damn good showing.
Yeah, they are.
Putting on a damn good showing. We lost Earl here for a second. I bet you Earl's going to flag down our next guest, whoever that may be. No, he's just actually talking to his radio friends over there. Not flagging down, I guess, but that's fair.
Listen, we've hit just about everybody here.
Yeah.
I tell you, listen, UCSS has given.
Oh, there's Max Strus walking around. I wonder if.
Has given the world the greatest array of guests in a short period of time.
We got all that. We got back-to-back Kobe, and I think Earl's going to flag down Max Strus for us. Who Max, by the way, we give the people a little tour. I told you my friend Eli, the one who knew George. He coached Max in Miami too. So, and he's now in Portland with the Blazers, which has a mass exodus here in recent days.
Because tomorrow's here. This is the media day. Practice starts tomorrow.
The real stuff.
Real deal.
This is all the end of
the first game. The first exhibition game is on October 10th.
It's coming quick, Brad.
That's next week.
It is October 2nd. It's my dad's birthday. Happy birthday, Dad. 16th birthday.
That's next week.
That's crazy. They only do 7 days of practice.
That's it. Yeah.
That feels.
This is it.
That feels very limited.
What do you have? 4 exhibitions? 5 exhibition games?
I think it's 4 exhibition games.
And then then we'll get the roster down to the size it's supposed to be. This is about to start.
How many guys start in camp? I'm looking at the roster right here. And there's way more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 21 guys on this roster.
21. And we're gonna get down to 12.
12 dress.
And then 4 and then two afloat.
Yeah, the 3 two-ways.
Yeah, two-way.
Yeah, okay. So I'm looking at guys like Zaire Smith, Justin Powell, Pete Nance. Those guys are just training camp invites who are here on this list technically.
Yeah.
But they have their two-way guys signed.
Yeah, but listen, you never know who's going to perform in this preseason. Somebody can perform so well that they make a mark.
And you have to. And you can't let them go. You can't let them walk.
Yep.
And they're going to earn minutes in those situations, too. I mean,
they are.
Can you take us back to training camp when you were playing, Brad, of a guy who maybe entered a training camp without a ton of expectations and then proved his worth?
There's a guy. If you ask anybody in the Chicago Bulls who guarded Michael Jordan the best, there's a guy that used to play. His name was Pete Myers.
I'll be honest.
Pete Myers.
You know I love basketball. I've never heard of Pete Myers.
Pete Myers came from the University of Arkansas Little Rock. He was a 6th-round pick of the Chicago Bulls. So he was just a camp guy. He came in and played so well at the camp, they kept him on the roster. I think Pete ended up playing 12 years in the NBA.
Did he really?
Yes, he did. I said Pete was first year. I think Pete was making like $40,000. That's what he was making. Right? He didn't have a car, nothing. He had nothing, right? And he turned that into a long-term playing career, and then a coaching career with the Bulls and Golden State Warriors.
That's crazy.
I said, but
good for him.
So you can do it. This is here. Where you drafted has no bearing on. If you come out here and perform, you come out here, and to this day, I think we had Charles Oakley on the UCSS, and he said, "Who's the best player?" And Charles brought up, "Who's the best player to take Michael Jordan?" And we both said the same thing. Pete Myers.
What made him so good defensively?
Because he didn't care. He didn't care about what your accolades were. You couldn't deter him, right? He was going to compete with you every night and every day, right?
And defense is so much effort. People always sleep on that. Defense.
He just played hard.
It's so much effort. Yeah.
And at the end, you had to respect him. You're like, oh my, you had nothing. You shouldn't even be here. And next, he turned nothing into something.
And kudos to him. I mean, those are the kind of stories that we love to hear, fans love to hear, and you can really galvanize. And
you can appreciate.
Yeah, that's the right word. Appreciate.
You can appreciate.
Brad, when you look at this Cavs roster here, you would assume, barring any major change, that Donovan Darius are your top 2 leading scorers.
Right.
If I had to ask you to choose between Mobley, Strus, or Allen, really between Mobley or Strus, or LeVert, there's your 3. LeVert, who would you say has the best chance to be the 3rd leading scorer in the Cavs this season? In terms of points per game basis.
I probably say LeVert because I'm going to bring LeVert off the bench, right? I'm going to bring LeVert off the bench because the guy off the bench has when you coming in, you're just an assassin at that point, right? Yeah. So you can probably get the most numbers.
The microwave.
Right. But Strus, it's probably going to be. If we go Strus, you're small because he's only 6'5", right? You got 6'5", and then you got Darius and Donovan, right? So I'm not sure you can get a steady diet of that. But Niang,
you on the air? I don't want to.
I'm on the air, but it's all good, Mike. Okay. It's all good. It's all good. Mike Snyder, come on over here, Mike Snyder. Come over real quick. Sit down, Mike Snyder. Voice of the Cavaliers.
How you doing, sir?
How you doing?
Pleasure, Mike Lucas. Nice to
Hey, Mike, how are you?
It's a 2-hour live stream, baby. There's no ifs, ands, buts. We're now joined by the voice of the Cavaliers.
Well, one of the number of voices. Pre-game studio,
Post-game host.
So
That's my partner, Mr. Mayor.
So Mike Snyder. So we're sitting here. I see you've been interviewing a bunch of people down there.
Yes, we have.
What kind of response have you gotten? What did you take? What is your takeaway?
There's a lot of optimism, and I think from a real source that they believe that, hey, we've made some moves after what we went through last year and looked at some things that were necessary to get three-point shooting. And I think that the players are optimistic. I know JB, I think, is excited to see what he's got here, Brad.
Yes, JB and Kobe. Mike and I asked him this: your ability to resist the blow up button, to blow the thing up and say, and just stick with your core and see what you have. And their response was, "We feel good about what we have." Is that what you the vibe you took?
The core. And I think a great example is you look at the Denver Nuggets. I mean, a few years ago they were vilified. They got knocked out in the first round. Oh, well, they got healthy, and then Jokic just continued to grow. They got a championship, and I think the Cavs now feel that they've got the pieces in place. They've had a core that's been together. Only the second year for Donovan Mitchell, who I think he's the leader, and he seems like he's as happy as could be. I hear all the talk about the contracts and everything, but every time I see him or hear him talk, he seems like he really likes it. And I asked him that, and he says, "I tell people I'm happy here." And it's like, well, they don't want to hear that you're happy at Cleveland, but he is. And I think he likes his teammates. He likes it here, and I know it's a business. We all know that. I'm not, trying to fool myself, but I sense that there's that belief that they've got a good core. They've added some things, and they're the right kind of guys too, Brad. Strus is an overachiever. He played in that Miami culture. Niang has been someone that's been around in Utah with Donovan, who works at his shot. Veterans, they see they've been there, and I think they're going to help this group.
We just asked Donovan a second ago what the second-year iteration of him and Darius in the backcourt looks like. Obviously, it was successful. They won 51 games last year, but what is a year of comfortability playing alongside a backcourt partner when they both have to share the ball look like? In your mind, what is the Garland-Mitchell 2.0 backcourt? What's that ceiling?
Well, I think, Mike, I think what it's going to look like is where we're not watching it go from one to the other. I think it's got to be in the flow of things, and I'm interested to see what JB's talking about, more movement and some of the things he's hinted out there. But I think it's got to be maybe when we're not really thinking about, well, this guy only took so many shots or that. I think when we get to that point, I think that's what you ultimately want to see. And they each got to kind of step back a little bit too. Now you've got some other offense coming in. How is it going to work with Strus? Not that you're looking to go to him. Your go-to guys still are Garland and Mitchell. But I think when it's more seamless where we're not even thinking about it, that's what I think we want to see.
Now with Evan Mobley, how did that go?
Well, with Evan, I didn't actually get to talk with Evan. We actually talked to his brother. He was over there, and then it was one of those cases where they bumped in. I think Donovan was with us when Evan became available. It gets congested in the media lane here, right? But I'll tell you what, looking at him, Brad, and I think he knows that. I guess he's got a whole new workout center in his house.
So there's room for growth here, yes. Right? That's all you want to see. Right? He's only 22, Mike. He's only 22. That's just a baby.
Yes, he is.
And I do think for the Cavs to take that next step, it does fall a little bit on his shoulders this year. I mean, they drafted him with the expectation, 3rd overall, that he's going to be a superstar. He's shown flashes of superstar potential, and now can he go from being a very good player to being at the level I think they need in the front court to complement Darius, Donovan, and the rest of the guys in the front.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. And I'm sure Brad has talked to you about that. I know, Brad, you've made comments to me on post-game shows about, they need to kind of define some things for him, though, because he is so young. He's got all this skill, but you need to kind of get some, all right, we're going to try to get you the ball here. This is where we want you to work, do your best work in what we're doing.
The worst thing you can do for young players when you say, you can do everything. Well, yeah, you could do everything, but that don't mean you master them all. That means you can do a lot of things. Mm-hmm. If you get down and find a person's core, like how you can help me on this team, that's how you develop players.
Well, we'll let you go.
All right.
Mike Snyder. Say hi. Nice to meet you on the air. This is called live
live
TV
TV.
day. Here's the man, DG.
And we're gonna bring in Darius Garland here in 1 sec.
I'm well, man.
Darius, how you doing, man? Good to see you again.
There you go, baby.
We're joined now by
his daddy was a beast.
the point guard, Darius Garland. Darius, we've been talking. We just talked to Donovan a second ago, and I asked him, what is year 2 of a backcourt with you and Donovan look like? Obviously, it was successful in year 1, but now there's a year of familiarity, continuity, and you guys just know each other better. So, what's the next evolution of this Cavaliers backcourt between you two?
I mean, try to get more wins, really. Like you said, we had a year under our belt just playing with each other, just getting the camaraderie together. Really trying to figure out what plays that he likes to run, where he likes the ball, where he's more efficient, just getting to the spots, and where he can be more effective, just getting everybody else involved as well. So we're both going through that right now. We've been watching a lot of films together, so I'm sending him some clips. He's sending me some clips of what we seen last year. So, I mean, we got a little camaraderie together. And we have a year playing basketball with each other, so it's getting better.
So, I was asking you earlier about your father. So, for those who don't know, Darius' father, Winston Garland, was a heck of a player in this league. He's like a thorn in everybody's side. I'm like, this little boy, he's going at it again. I'm like, so how much of a comfort is it? You can leave here after any day, pick up the phone and call him, and I'm sure he calls you and tells you what he sees, right? How much help is that to you?
It helps a lot. I mean, it used to really help when I was like my first couple years into the league. I used to call him after every game and just see what was his input, really. But I actually told him just to take a little step back now. I mean, this is my 5th year in the league right now. Yeah, so yeah, I'm going into my own. And I mean, I've been here before, so I've seen it a couple times. So it's actually more fun for me because he's starting to become an actual fan now. He's actually a fan of me now instead of like a coach or a father. So I mean, it's pretty cool just getting his input for sure, though. I mean, he's been there before. He's seen it at the highest level as well. So it's always good just to get another input.
I got a daughter in Maryland, right? And so I understand it because now I have to step back, right? She's doing her thing. I sit there like the fan. Gotta sit back.
Yeah, for sure.
Darius, I know what media did ask a lot of the same questions. So I'm going to ask a question I know you have not been asked yet. We had George Niang here a second ago. And I just asked him, what's it like been playing with Darius and Donovan, getting used to playing with you guys? And he said the best part about playing with Darius is that I only have to guard him in practice and it's not on national TV. So I got to ask you, and you can throw George on the bus if you want to take the high road, your choice.
Okay.
What have you done to George in practice that he is so embarrassed to guard you?
I haven't done anything to George yet.
He said yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this week it's gonna be pretty tough for him to be on the opposition. But I mean, I haven't did anything though. I've been trying to get George on my team as much as I can. I need a shooter with me, so I'm trying to get him some open shots, get him some corner or threes. But if he is on the opposition, I'm gonna run him. I'm gonna move around a little bit, and then I'm gonna make him use his feet. You know, George is kind of heavy on his feet, so I'm gonna try to blow by him.
You guys still call him?
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay. That's a legendary nickname.
I don't know if he likes it, but he's gonna take it. He's gonna take it on this year from us. So, yeah.
Let me ask this, Darius. So you're 5th year, right? And so, command of the locker room. How you feel about command of the locker room now?
I'm actually pretty confident in it now. Like I said, I've been through the league. I've seen most of everything. So just having that confidence and just taking over the locker room, I mean, it's going to mean a lot for us. And our team is looking for it. They want me to do it. They know that I'm the leader of this team, so I just have to take command of it. I have to just grab it and just go with that. I just have to roll with all the punches. And I think I'm ready for that job. It's my 5th year. I'm truly a vet now. So, yeah, I'm ready to take on the leadership role for sure and actually embrace it.
We got a question. It would be rude of us to ask you a question, Darius. We have Earl. Earl, get back here. You got to ask the last question from the best hair in here to the second best hair in here. You have actually earned the right to ask Darius the last question.
I think your hair is fly. My hair is fly.
Gotta get a little lower. Remember, it's still looking at you.
We can't even see you, bro.
Yeah, I can't even see it. No,
now we can.
Serious question, like for you. What's your personal goals this year? I already know the team goals to go try to win the championship. But what is it that you're looking to do this year that you haven't done yet in your NBA career?
Personally, I want to make the All-Star team again. I want to make an All-NBA team. And then lead to as many wins as we can. We just had this conversation about leading, so that's my thing. I want to embrace this year as the leadership role and just really commanding this team and try to take them as far as I can.
Darius, best of luck this upcoming season. And if there is a George clip that comes out, if you want to send it our way, I promise we definitely will tweet it. Yeah. All right, Darius, good luck this season. We appreciate you, man. And how about Earl stepping in? That's Earl's, Earl's first question of the day was a heater.
That's it?
That's my guy, Earl. He doesn't miss. When he's in here, he delivers.
We didn't hit everybody in here.
And I think we're just waiting on Strus and we can wrap up. I know Strus is making his way around here.
Is Strus still around?
Earl, are we getting Strus? And then are we, I think we're wrapping up.
Is he still around here?
He was walking around a second ago. His lady pointed at us. So I think we're going to get Max Strus and then we'll wrap up. Yeah, Earl, he's down there. So we'll get Strus and we'll wrap up here. Brad, overall, though, I know you just asked Mike, and we appreciate Mike Snyder for sitting down for a second. We apologize for kicking him out. But as you see, Jason Lloyd, it doesn't matter. If you got a player coming in, you're getting the boot.
Yeah, that's my compadre after the game.
So what's your overall takeaway from what we heard today, bro? We've talked to almost everyone on the team, and I think Mike nailed it.
I think everybody is confident about where they are, right? I don't think anybody is panicked, right? We know there's been some acquisitions in other parts of the conference. There's no question about it. That has to play itself out. What we did was worry about what we needed to do. We needed shooting in the utmost way here. I think it was clear to everybody in town here. You needed two things. You needed shooting and you needed toughness. And the players that they have on this training camp roster feel a variety of needs. You are either can shoot the ball, you're multi-purposed, able to do multiple things, and you're tough, right? The one person that I think that has intrigued everybody was the acquisition of Tristan Thompson back here.
He's the one guy we didn't get a chance to speak with, and he snuck out. I don't think he did much interviews.
Veteran.
I told you. Brad, it's like you've been there before.
Like, I'm out of here.
But that is a guy that I do think adds just a toughness element. And you know, we asked Donovan, we asked JB, we asked Kobe about building toughness.
Right.
Well, it starts in the gym. You got to be physically tough, but it also starts mentally tough. And a guy like Tristan Thompson is capable of doing that time after time. Like he just instills that in younger players.
Well, you also don't forget this, Mike. The one thing you heard about it was this: they wanted somebody in the locker room with a loud voice, right? That wasn't afraid to hurt somebody's feelings. And it's not even about hurting your feelings. It's about letting you know when we need to keep it 100 with one another, right? And that can't always come from the coach. It has to come sometimes from your peers, right? And he's a guy who's been there. So he has earned the right to say, no, I don't see that at all, right? And so that's where I think they got tougher at here. And I think that's going to yield some definite benefits for people going forward.
We see Strus walking the other way. We're going to see if we can flag him down. If not, we may just put a wrap on this. Brad, we got 10 minutes where we have to wrap anyway. This whole facility shuts down in 9 minutes at 4 o'clock, so we are. Well, it looks like Strus is entering the locker room, so maybe that is the end of our duties here for UCSS. We'll give another minute too, Brad. We'll filibuster. We can fill a few minutes, but he's out. So is Strus. We'll just give our own 2 cents on Strus. He adds an element of shooting, a much-needed element of finals experience, and maybe more important than anything else, this is a guy who came into the league as an undrafted player in Miami, worked his way to the G League, made his name on defense before he became a shooter. Now, as he's become more involved in the offense, his defense has tailed off a little bit. That's natural. It's to be expected. But this is a guy that adds, at the 3 position, something that they did not have any of last year, which was a guy who come off a screen, and not a shot curl. Curl stand and catch shooter. This is a guy you can run plays for to create open shots. And that just creates so much space for Garland, Mitchell to get in and find the open guy.
The one thing you have to remember is this. He's a threat.
Yeah.
Apparently, when he hits the floor, the other opposition is going to have to pay attention to where he is because of his pedigree from before. If you watch any of the Miami games, right, you already know that I got to be concerned where he is, right, which yields a benefit to Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, and Evan Mobley, right? So just having him on the floor. Now, there'll be times when we go small, Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Strus, Niang, and Mobley, right? We'll have shooters. We'll have guys who can push the ball, and we'll play a lighter role. We'll push the ball, and then we'll see how long that gets us. But we have options now. That's what I like. We have options.
And you guys have options, and you guys continue to tune into UCSS Monday through Friday, 11:01. The Barbershop with G. Bush, another option. It's coming up at 6 o'clock tonight. Make sure you tap in. We are back tomorrow from 11:01 on the normally scheduled Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. We appreciate the Cavs. Shout out to BJ and everyone else here for allowing us to come set up shop and hang out with you guys. We hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a little something. For Brad Sellers, myself, shout out to Anthony in the back for directing, Earl for running cameras. We appreciate y'all tuning in, and we will see y'all tonight at 6 o'clock for the Barbershop. Tomorrow, 11 a.m. for UCSS. Is Jared Allen possibly? Potentially. Hold on. All good then. Nope. That is it for us then. We appreciate you guys. Anthony, take us to black. See y'all tomorrow. Peace.